catastrophic winter storm, designated by meteorologists as Winter Storm Fern, has brought the state of Tennessee to a virtual standstill. As of Sunday, January 25, 2026, state officials have declared this the most damaging icing event in over 3 decades, surpassing the infrastructure destruction seen during the infamous 1994 ice storm. From the Great Smoky Mountains in the east to the Mississippi River in the west, Tennessee is currently encased in a thick, treacherous layer of glaze that has snapped power lines, shattered ancient trees, and rendered interstate travel nearly impossible. Governor Bill Lee issued a statewide state of emergency late Sunday evening as utility companies reported staggering numbers of power outages. Currently, more than 315,000 customers are without electricity.
No power.
Middle Tennessee remains the epicenter of the crisis, with Nashville alone accounting for over 200,000 of those outages. The Tennessee Valley Authority, TVA, and local distributors like Nashville Electric Service, NES, have warned that restoration could take weeks. This is not a typical snow event where we can plow the roads and get to work, said an NES spokesperson. The ice accumulation on power lines is over half an inch thick in many areas. When you combine that weight with 40 miles per hour wind gusts, the infrastructure simply collapses. The state's transportation artery has been severed. Nashville International Airport, BNA, saw a total ground stop through most of Sunday. In a rare move, the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, briefly closed the BNA control tower early Monday morning due to staffing shortages caused by workers being unable to reach the facility through the icy roads. Interstate highways, including the I-24 and I-40 corridors, are littered with abandoned vehicles and jackknifed semi-trucks. The Tennessee Highway Patrol, THP, has responded to over 1,200 weather-related accidents in the last 48 hours. Officials are pleading with residents to stay off the roads to allow emergency crews and salt trucks to operate. If you do not have to be out, stay home. Black ice is invisible and lethal, warned the Tennessee Department of Transportation, TDOT. The crisis has extended beyond the lack of warmth. In West Tennessee, the town of Adamsville reported a total loss of water pressure after the local treatment plant lost power and its backup generators failed due to extreme cold. Similar warnings have been issued in rural counties where well pumps rely on the crippled electrical grid. In response, the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency, TEMA, has coordinated the opening of 89 warming centers and emergency shelters across the state. In Nashville, the Nissan Stadium and several community centers have been converted into mass shelters for those facing sub-zero temperatures without home heating. Meteorologists note that the sheer volume of freezing rain that freezes upon contact with the ground, is what makes this storm historic. Most regions recorded between 0.5 to 0.8 inches of solid ice accumulation. In 1994, we saw similar damage, but the population density of Tennessee has grown significantly since then, says climatologist Dr. Marcus Thorne. The strain on the modern grid and the number of people affected makes this the most significant weather challenge the volunteer state has faced in the 21st century. The immediate danger of falling ice may have passed as the precipitation moves east, but the danger of the deep freeze remains. Temperatures are forecasted to drop into the single digits Fahrenheit tonight, with wind chills reaching minus 10 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 23 degrees Celsius. Because temperatures are not expected to rise above freezing until Thursday, the ice will remain bonded to trees and lines, causing secondary drop falls where thawing ice chunks fall from height, posing a danger to pedestrians. Meanwhile, the city of Memphis and the surrounding Mid-South region are currently facing one of the most severe winter weather disasters in modern history. A relentless combination of heavy snow and a preceding flash freeze has turned the city's major arteries into corridors of chaos, resulting in dozens of accidents, significant injuries, and a total collapse of the local transportation network. The most significant incident occurred during the peak of the morning commute. Despite repeated warnings from the National Weather Service, Many motorists were caught off guard by the rapid accumulation of snow over a pre-existing layer of black ice. On Interstate 55, near the intersection with I-240, a massive 25-vehicle pileup was reported at 7:15 a.m. The chain reaction began when a commercial freight truck lost traction on the downhill slope of an overpass, sliding sideways and blocking all northbound lanes. Within seconds, passenger vehicles, unable to find grip on the frozen asphalt, slammed into the trailer and each other. "It was like a war zone," said Maria Gonzalez, a witness who managed to stop her car just feet from the wreckage. "You could hear the sound of metal crushing every few seconds as new cars joined the pile. There was nowhere for anyone to go because the shoulders were already blocked by snowdrifts." The Memphis Fire Department, MFD, confirmed that they had to use specialized extraction tools, including the jaws of life, to rescue at least 7 individuals trapped in their vehicles. Preliminary reports indicate 3 confirmed fatalities and over 15 people transported to Regional 1 Health, with injuries ranging from broken bones to critical trauma. While the I-55 crash remains the most severe, the Memphis Police Department, MPD, has been overwhelmed by hundreds of smaller collisions across the city. These major east-west thoroughfares were littered with abandoned vehicles and fender benders, making it nearly impossible for snowplows to clear the path. Both the new bridge, I-40, and the old bridge, I-55, experienced intermittent closures as several semi-trucks became spun out on the inclines, effectively cutting off Memphis from Arkansas. The Memphis Area Transit Authority, MATA, suspended all bus and trolley services indefinitely after 3 buses were involved in minor sliding accidents early this morning. Meteorologists explain that the high casualty rate on the roads today is due to the specific nature of winter storm Fern. The storm began with several hours of freezing rain on Sunday night, which created a solid, invisible glaze of ice. This was followed by 4 to 6 inches of heavy, wet snow. The snow acts as a deceptive blanket, says Dr. Ethan Hunt, a regional climatologist. Drivers think they have traction because they see snow, but underneath is a skating rink. In Memphis, where we have many bridges and overpasses, the road surface temperature drops much faster than the ground, creating lethal traps for anyone traveling at highway speeds. In response to the mounting casualties and the paralysis of the city, Mayor Paul Young, in coordination with Governor Bill Lee, has declared a local state of emergency for Shelby County. "We are asking every Memphian to stay off the roads. This is not a request. It is a necessity for public safety," Mayor Young stated in a televised briefing. "Our emergency responders are struggling to reach those in life-threatening situations because the roads are clogged with non-essential traffic and accidents." The Tennessee Highway Patrol, THP, has been deployed to assist MPD in managing the highways, but they warn that response times are currently exceeding 2 hours for non-injury accidents. MFD has already responded to 4 separate calls for carbon monoxide exposure this morning. Residents are urged to use only approved heating sources and to seek out one of the 12 warming centers opened by the city, including the Benjamin L. Hooks Central Library. Memphis International Airport, MEM, a global hub for FedEx, has seen its operations crippled. While the primary runways are being treated, the sheer volume of snow has led to the cancellation of over 200 flights. This disruption is expected to cause a ripple effect in global logistics, delaying packages and medical supplies across the United States. A catastrophic winter weather event, officially designated as part of Winter Storm Fern, has left a trail of unprecedented destruction across the state of Mississippi. The Magnolia State is grappling with a statewide emergency that has decimated the power grid, paralyzed the agricultural sector, and caused structural failures from the Tennessee border down to the Pine Belt. While Mississippi is no stranger to severe weather, the sheer magnitude of ice accumulation, reaching up to 0.75 to 1 inch in some northern and central counties, has created a crisis that emergency management officials describe as a once-in-a-generation disaster. The most immediate and devastating impact has been the near-total collapse of local electrical infrastructures. According to the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency, MEMA, more than 240,000 customers are currently without power. The weight of the ice accumulation is the primary culprit. A mere half-inch of ice can add hundreds of pounds of weight to power lines and tree branches. In cities like Oxford, Tupelo, and the capital, Jackson, the sounds of snapping oak and pine trees echoed through the night, followed by the blinding blue flashes of arcing transformers. Our systems are designed for wind and rain, but no grid can withstand an inch of solid ice followed by 35 miles per hour winds, said a spokesperson for Entergy Mississippi. We have thousands of poles snapped at the base. This is not just a repair job. In many areas, we are essentially rebuilding the grid from scratch. The damage is not limited to utility lines. Across North Mississippi, reports are flooding in of structural failures. In DeSoto County, the roof of a large distribution warehouse partially collapsed under the weight of the ice and accumulated sleet. Fortunately, the facility was evacuated hours earlier. Hundreds of homes have sustained significant damage from falling trees. In the historic Belhaven neighborhood of Jackson, century-old trees have crashed through roofs and crushed parked vehicles. Several older municipal buildings and rural fire stations have reported sagging roofs and burst pipes as the record-breaking cold, dipping to 12 degrees Fahrenheit, followed the initial icing. Mississippi's vital agricultural industry has been dealt a massive blow. The state's poultry industry, concentrated in the central and southern regions, is in a state of high alert. The weight of the ice has caused several chicken houses to collapse, leading to significant livestock losses. Furthermore, the prolonged power outages have disabled ventilation and heating systems, threatening millions of birds. The forestry sector, a cornerstone of the Mississippi economy, is facing catastrophic timber breakage. Pine plantations are particularly vulnerable as the trees bend and snap under the ice load. Preliminary estimates suggest tens of millions of dollars in lost timber value. The Mississippi Department of Transportation, MDOT, has officially advised against all non-emergency travel. These major corridors have become parking lots as jackknifed semi-trucks block lanes. Bridges, which freeze much faster than road surfaces, have become impassable. Unlike snow, which provides some level of friction, the ice in Mississippi is a smooth, glass-like coating. Even heavy-duty emergency vehicles have reported sliding off roadways. The bridges connecting Natchez and Vicksburg to Louisiana were closed intermittently due to the danger of ice bombs, large chunks of ice falling from the bridge cables onto vehicles below. Governor Tate Reeves, who declared a state of emergency on Sunday, emphasized that the priority is life safety. We are in a race against the clock to reach elderly residents and those dependent on oxygen or medical devices, the governor said. Over 50 warming centers have been opened by the American Red Cross and local churches. However, reaching these centers remains a challenge for those with iced-in driveways and no power. Mirroring the 2021 winter storm, many cities, including Jackson, are experiencing water pressure drops. The extreme cold has caused aging water mains to burst, and power outages at treatment plants have forced several counties to issue boil water notices. The immediate precipitation has ended, but the danger is far from over. A polar plunge is currently moving through the state, with temperatures expected to stay well below freezing for at least the next 72 hours. This means the ice will not melt naturally, and salt treatments are less effective at these extreme temperatures. The state is essentially encased in a shell of glass, said meteorologist David Sims. Until we get a significant thaw, every leaning tree and every sagging wire remains a potential killer. Universities across Mississippi have announced closures, while others have scheduled remote learning at the start of next week. Governor Tate Reeves declared a state of emergency ahead of the storm to help speed funding for recovery efforts. The state of emergency will be in effect through at least January 27th, Governor Reeves wrote earlier this week on Facebook. Doing so will allow us to further mobilize state assets and better support response efforts in counties affected by the impending storm. The storm is being fueled by warm, moist air from the Gulf colliding with cold Arctic air that is moving into the region. This will lead to extreme cold following the storm. In North Mississippi, some areas will see sub-zero temperatures on Tuesday morning, such as Oxford, where the low is expected to be -4 degrees. Follow our live coverage with this link throughout the day for updated information as the winter storm moves through. The Mississippi Department of Public Safety announced the state's northern and central driver services will be closed Monday, January 26th. Those locations include Batesville, Canton, Cleveland, Columbus, Corinth, Greenville, Greenwood, Grenada, Jackson, Kosciuszko, Meridian, Nesbit, New Albany, Newton, Olive Branch, Oxford, Pearl, Philadelphia, Richland, Starkville, Tupelo, and Vicksburg. The department also stated that southern region locations will have a delayed opening of 10 a.m. Monday, January 26th.
We got a lot of snow.
Those locations include Biloxi, Brookhaven, Gaudier, Gulfport Airport, Hattiesburg, Hattiesburg West, Laurel, Kiln, Natchez, and Picayune.
It looked very pretty. I'm not in the snow at